What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over thumb releases and how to execute and fire your bow with one of these bad boys. So first things first, what is a thumb release or a thumb button? It is a handheld release that is activated by pushing that thumb peg down. Now, thumb releases come in many different shapes, sizes. Some have a caliper head like this one. Some have just a hook head on it that you loop into the D-loop. But all of them are going to have a thumb peg that will release the head of the release, ultimately causing your bow to fire. So like I say, with thumb releases, there are a ton of different variations. There's 3-finger, there's 2-finger, there's 4-finger. You can have releases where you adjust the 3rd and 4th finger. Many releases have adjustable thumb pegs, just like this one has got, so that you can really fine tune to your hand how it's gonna feel at full draw. So lots of different variants out there. This one in particular is a True Ball Blade Pro 3-finger. Love this release. I've been shooting this release for, I don't know, 5-6 years now, and had the same release. It's bulletproof. It works great. We're gonna get into the actual method of firing a thumb release the right way. We're gonna talk about the wrong ways of firing this release, anchor position, hand position, everything that has to do with firing this release right here, we're gonna talk about in this video. All right, let's talk about hand position on the release when you are drawing the release and when you're in the anchor. One thing you don't want to do is have your fingers way out on the fingertips here. That can cause added stress in the hand and added stress down in the forearm, resulting in like a twitchy type of feel, which ultimately is not ideal. You want consistency in your hand and consistency in the way you release every single time. So how I like to hold a thumb release, or any handheld release for that matter, is I come in fairly deep into the knuckles here, just like this, and I keep my hand flat. You want the profile of your hand to stay flat, and you want the jaws of that release pointing straight up, so that when you're anchored and that release fires, it's gonna come over the top of your shoulder, resulting in a straight line release of the arrow downrange. That is what you ultimately want to achieve. So don't be out here on the fingertips. You're gonna have a lot of weird variation there. You want to be right here in these knuckles, head of the release pointing straight. Another thing you don't want to do is ball up and have like a fist type of anchor with this release. By doing that, you cause the head of the release to torque off to the side. And a lot of times you'll have this release come down and away. If you're really balling up that hand, a lot of times you'll have this release low and come down and away, and you don't want that. You want to have the release straight line and break over the top of the shoulder. Now let's talk about drawing and anchoring with this release. So whether you have a caliper style head or a hook mechanism, no matter what, it's going to come around and attach to the D-loop like that. So once you get it on the D-loop, that's when you're going to establish your hand position and your finger position flat with the head straight. That's how you're going to draw your bow. We're clipping it on and we're coming in to our shot here, flat line, just like that. We're going to draw straight at the target and anchor into the face. And how I like to anchor with this release, as well as a hinge release or any hand style release, if you've got it flat like this, I'll take this knuckle and it kind of creates a V there. I'll put that like right on my jawline, just like that. Just like that, okay? That's how I'm going to anchor with this style of release. Draw, anchor, just like that. Okay, moving on to thumb position to fire the release. When you draw this release, you want to make sure that your thumb is out of the way of the actual trigger. You want to draw with your thumb behind the trigger, just like that. See, it's nowhere even close to touching that trigger. You only want to come into that trigger when you're about ready to shoot. that's when you want to touch onto the actual barrel itself. All right, let's talk about how we're actually going to get this release to fire. Once we're at full draw, once we're in anchor, we're going to start pulling into the back wall of our bow, okay? Not with a ton of pressure, just slightly pulling into the back wall of our bow, and we're going to wrap this thumb around and get it just like that, okay? You don't want to be out here. You don't want to be super deep in here. You just want it just like that, okay? That keeps everything nice and relaxed. You're keeping the release straight in your hand. You're not causing a lot of manipulation with the release like this by coming super deep, or manipulation backward by coming way out. You're just coming in and hooking this thumb just barely like that on that peg, and you want to see just a little bit of skin start to ball up on that thumb peg, just like that, okay? Coming around, a little bit of skin balling up, and as we pull into the back wall, we're going to just barely be relaxing our hand, okay? As we're barely relaxing our hand and pulling into the back wall, that's going to cause this trigger to fire. Once again, full draw, thumb pulling into our back wall, fires. There's no actual movement of the thumb itself. The thumb should stay stationary around that barrel, wrapped around, get a little bit of skin balled up, stationary, pull, 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 fires. All right, let's take some shots here, just regular speed, and show you what that looks like, and then I will go to a slow motion video so you can also see how the release is activating in slow motion, get a little bit better idea of what's going on. All right, so now let's get some shots off a little closer up and in slow motion so you can really see what I'm doing with my hand and thumb position on the barrel, as well as the follow through over the shoulder. All right, now let's talk a little bit on the wrong way to shoot a thumb button. Punching the thumb or punching the trigger is a very common issue with shooting a thumb button and can cause inconsistencies in your shot, as well as target panic. A lot of target panic develops from punching the trigger and the anticipation of the shot going off. So here's an example. I absolutely hate doing this, but here's an example of punching the trigger. We're gonna come full draw, get in our anchor. We're gonna be way out here, okay? We're feeling for the button, we feel it. There's the target, and that is the wrong way to shoot a thumb. So let's do that one more time. Draw, anchor, feeling for it, and then you don't want to do that. That's the wrong way. It's going to breed target panic, anticipation, and ultimately going to be really inconsistent long term. So anyway, just remember, when you come into your thumb button, knuckles straight, head straight, you come in, wrap your thumb around, just barely ball up that skin on that barrel, pull, 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 shot goes off. Anyway, I think that's it. Appreciate you guys watching. We will catch you on the next one. Peace.